All right, guys, happy Sunday. It is the last day of the regular season with an asterisk. We've got a little doubleheader action tomorrow with the Braves and the Mets, but for the other teams, today is the last day of the regular season. So we've got a full 15 game slate on this wonderful Sunday. A lot of teams that don't give a crap, so got to be a little careful today. But before we get into that, subscribe to the channel. Do it. Hit the little button, little bell notification so you get the noties when I post a video. All right, let's get into the recap. Very, very shitty day yesterday. A lot of issues. We talked about that. But anywho, 0-2 and we pushed the Reds. So it is what it is. We move on. All right, first game on the card today. Pirates and the Yankees. Bailey Falter going up against Clark Schmidt. Falter, a little over a 4.5 away ERA. Schmidt, a 4.00 home ERA. We look at Bailey Falter, 6 earned runs in his last 3 games, 10 earned runs in his last 3 away games. Gave up 2 to the Cardinals, 4 to the Guardians, 4 to the Dodgers. Last 2, I'll give you that. They hit lefties all right. We look at Schmidt, 6 earned runs in his last 3 games, gave up 3 in his last start to the Orioles. Those were pretty early on. Once he settled in, he looked really good. Gave up 1 at Seattle and 2 at home against the Red Sox. If we look at the Yankees, they're hitting lefties well. 11 earned runs versus the last 3 left-handed starters, so we'll take it. Last left-handed starter they faced was J.P. Sears at Oakland. They got 6 off of him. They faced Cole Reagans, got 2 off of him. Jordan Wicks scored 3 off of him. I would put Falter probably last on that list, maybe ahead of Wicks. So not a super strong lefty. He's got a 4.26 ERA on the season. He's rocking an 8-9 record. So I like the Yankees. This will be the last tune-up for Schmidt. I think he comes out firing. We haven't really seen the Yankees care a whole lot, though. That's my only concern. We're also paying minus 192 for them. So that is quite concerning as well. But, man, I still don't trust this Pirates bullpen. I think the Yankees win this game. So give me the Yankees. And if I had to pick the over-under, I mean, we've got an 8-mile-an-hour wind blowing in. Over-under 8.5, I would say I would take the under. But, man, I really don't trust this Pirates bullpen. All right, next game on the card. Cardinals and the Giants. Michael McGreevy going up against Hayden Caw, the Birdsong. If we look at Birdsong, 5 earned runs in his last 3 games, gave up 2. Let's see, last 2 games were away. Good God. I take little short-handed notes that are hard to read sometimes. So last 2 games were away. He's given up 2 earned runs in his last 2 home games. Gave up 2 to Arizona, none to Milwaukee. So I like Birdsong in this spot. Going up against the Cardinals, we look at McGreevy. He's got a 5.40 away ERA. That's 1 game. So can't read a lot into that. He's had 3 starts. He gave up 3 earned runs at Colorado. So again, can't really read a whole lot into that away ERA because A, it's 1 game, B, it was at Colorado. Last game, he gave up no runs versus Pittsburgh, and he gave up 1 run versus Texas. So he's not been giving up a lot of runs. So the over-under is 8. We've got the wind blowing out, and the under is favored. So I like Birdsong to do pretty well here. Give me the Giants at minus 125. All right, Rays and the Red Sox. We've got Ryan Pepio going up against Quinn Priester. If we look at Priester, hasn't pitched since July 27th. That was at Arizona. He went 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs. So not a good taste in my mouth. He's got an 8.29 home ERA versus Pepio, a little under 3.5 away ERA. We look at Priester, kind of does these spot starts every once in a while. He has given up 2 or more earned runs in all but 1 of these spot starts. So don't love that whatsoever. We look at Pepio. He has pitched 2 games versus this Red Sox team. Both of them were in Tampa Bay. So 10 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 home run, and 15 Ks. But that was quite a little bit ago. We look at Pepio, recent trends. He's been pitching great. He's given up 5 earned in his last 3 games, 5 earned in his last 3 away games. 3 of his last 4 starts have been away. So we've got a really good track record of recent starts away. He gave up 2 against the Tigers, who have been pretty damn red hot. So holding them to 2, I'll take it. He gave up 2 to the Guardians, not bad, in Cleveland. And he gave up 1 to the Orioles. Orioles haven't really been hitting much, but still, we'll take 1. Give me the Rays on the money line. Like the first 5 here. If you want to isolate, I'll tell you my strategy today is really around starting pitchers. I think a lot of teams are going to use their crappy relievers. We've seen it all weekend. They've been saving their really good relievers' arms. They haven't really been working them too much. So I really just want to focus first 5s today. So for me, race first 5. You can go money line if you want. Minus 115. I think we're getting really good value here. All right, next game on the card is going to be the Phillies and the Nationals. Aaron Nola going up against Jake Irvin. We look at Irvin. Man, he not great against the Phillies. 0-2 with a 4.7 ERA. That's 3 games this year and 1 game last year. If we just look at the 3 games he pitched against the Phillies this year, he's got 17 innings pitched in those 3 games, 18 hits, 12 earned runs. He has given up 4 earned runs in every start against the Phillies this year, and he's got 12 Ks in those 17 innings. Don't love that. We look at the Phillies yesterday. They just really offensively didn't do anything through the first 7 innings, scored 2 in the 8th to tie it up. And then the bottom of the 8th, like I was talking about, they threw the crappiest bullpen arms they had, and that scored 4, and they ended up winning. So that sucked for our bet. We look at Irvin, 7 earned runs in his last 3 games. Last 2 games have been away. He's given up 13 earned runs in his last 3 home games. There is a huge delineation between Jake Irvin away and Jake Irvin at home. He just doesn't pitch well at home. We look at Aaron Nola. He has faced this team a couple times this year. He's 2-0 with a 0.93 ERA versus the Nationals this year. That's over almost 20 innings, 19.1 to be exact. He's given up 11 hits, 2 earned runs. We look at this this team against Nola. They're only hitting 208 off of him. That said, his recent starts, last 2 have been really good. He's only given up 3 earned in his last 2, and that was at home against the Cubs and at Milwaukee. So I like the last 2, but he gave up 6 before that. So he had a little string of about 3 starts there where he was really pretty shitty. But we've seen him pitch a little different the last 2. Hopefully he takes that going into today. So I like Philly's first 5. Again, I don't want to trust the bullpen after what I saw yesterday with them just throwing ragtag arms at people. I'll take Nola over Irvin given the recent splits. Absolutely. We look at Irvin, 4.5 home ERA, 3 wins, 8 losses on the season. Nola, 3.79 away ERA. So give me Philly's first 5 here all day. All right, next game. Rangers at the Angels. I don't like it. Eovaldi, a 4.41 away ERA. Kochanowicz, a 4 home ERA. He really has not pitched at home that often. 6 of his last 8 starts have been away. So we really don't have a lot to work on in terms of recent trends at home. But he's given up 5 earned in his last 3 games. Gave up 0 earned runs at the White Sox prior to that. So looking pretty good. We look at Eovaldi. He is 2-1 with a 1.35 ERA versus the Angels since 2022. So that's between 2022 and 2023. That's 3 games. Has not pitched against this team this year. We look at Eovaldi. Just hasn't looked great. He's given up 14 earned runs in his last 3 games. He gave up 3 at Oakland, 7 at home against Toronto, and 4 at Arizona. He's given up 7 earned in his last 3 games in general. So I guess, the last 3 away games, sorry. So there's that. But I mean, just 2 teams that, frankly, the Angels, we saw it in the White Sox series, they could give a crap less about anything. Just 2 teams, I think, that just don't give a shit. Like, they're just trying to get today over with. So, yeah, I would go Angels at plus 142. I like the way Kochanowicz has been pitching. Eovaldi not been trending well lately. But a game I will not touch. 100% not touching that game. All right, next game, Marlins and the Blue Jays. We've got Ryan Weathers going up against a bullpen day for the Blue Jays. I believe it's going to be Ryan Yarbrough, but I am not 100% certain on that. If we look at the Blue Jays, 1 earned run versus the last 3 left-handed starters they've faced. That's not good. If we look at Miami, 3 earned runs versus the last 7 left-handed starters they faced. So two teams that are struggling to hit left-handed starters, but they are crushing left-handed relievers. It's really weird. Over the last 7 days, the Marlins are hitting 421 off of lefties. Blue Jays are hitting 467. So kind of a weird stretch there. If we look at the Blue Jays, Tyler Alexander, they got none off of him. They faced Cody Bradford. They couldn't score off of Cody Bradford. They got one off of Sean Manaea. We look at Yarborough. This is, bullpen game for the Blue Jays. So in the whole month of September, he's pitched 13 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. Just don't have a lot to go off of here. Ryan Weathers has only been back 2 games. He looked really good in his last start at Minnesota. Only gave up 1 earned run. But his first game back against the Dodgers, he gave up 5. So really hard game to handicap. Just a absolute 100% complete pass for me. I would lean Blue Jays if I had to pick a team, but don't love it. All right, next game, Dodgers and the Rockies. This is an interesting game. Dodgers really don't have anything to play for. We've seen them absolutely crush the baseball the last 2 days. I will tell you, Shohei is going for the Triple Crown. Could be the first Triple Crown winner, I believe, since 1937. So Luis Reyes, kind of a bitch move. The Padres sat him yesterday. Hopefully he plays today. Shohei needs to overtake him for the batting title. So I believe there's two or 4 points separating them. I want to say Reyes is hitting 312 and Shohei is hitting 310. So I think they've got something to play for. A couple guys on the Dodgers said, they're going for some personal milestones today. So I don't think they're just going to pack it in. That's just a gut feeling. That said, we've got Anthony Banda. You've got a bullpen day. It was supposed to be Landon Knack, but they ended up skipping him, which, be careful, we could see that a lot today. Banda is a lefty. Rockies are actually hitting lefties pretty good over the last 7 and 14 days, but no one is hitting better than the Dodgers. They are number 1 in almost every offensive category over the last 2 weeks. They are first in average, first in WRC plus, first in strikeout percentage, first in walk percentage, first in OBP, first in OPS. So really hard to not back a team that is literally just crushing everybody in offensive statistics and putting up runs like they're in a video game. So give me the Dodgers in this one. Feltner, he is 0-2 with a 11.37 ERA versus the Dodgers since 2023. That's 3 games. We look at earlier this year in June when he pitched against the Dodgers at home. He went 5 innings and gave up 6 earned runs. He has given up 5 or more earned runs in all of his last 3 games he has pitched against the Dodgers. So recent trends, not great for Feltner, especially against the Dodgers. So give me the Dodgers in this spot. I know they're throwing a reliever, but we're getting good value at -142 to back them. It is going to be Charlie Blackmon's last game at home for Colorado. So I do like some prop around him we'll talk about. All right, next game, White Sox and the Tigers. I don't know if this is right. Tigers have a history of putting Kenta Maeda out and then not pitching him. So he is listed. I don't know if he does pitch. He's probably going to go 2-3 innings most likely. Jonathan Cannon on the other side of the hill for the White Sox. We were on the White Sox yesterday. They ended up winning 4-0. Makes sense. It was a party day for the Tigers. Just a system play we did for every team that clinched their next game. I think they all lost. So it was an undefeated strategy. We look at Cannon. He's got a 5.00 away ERA. Maeda a 4 home ERA. Cannon 7 earned in his last 3 games. 0 earned runs in his last game versus the Angels. But he's given up 10 earned runs in his last 3 away games. We look at Maeda if he does pitch. He's basically just gone 2 innings in every start this month into the relief role. He's done okay. 8 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 10 Ks. I think we'll see the same thing, just kind of this makeshift Tigers bullpen day. I don't know what the odds are for this one, so ignore those because they haven't come out. I think because they're waiting to see if Maeda is pitching, which he probably isn't, but probably will at some point today. But I just don't like the way the White Sox are hitting. Hitting 180 over the last 2 weeks against righties, 191 over the last 7 days. Not hitting much better against lefties, so good spot to take the Tigers after their little bounce back celebratory day. Next game on the card, Athletics and the Mariners. Mitch Spence going up against Logan Gilbert. Gilbert, not a great track record versus the A's this season. He's faced them 2 times. He is 0-1 with a 3.46 ERA. Both of those games were at Oakland. He went 13 innings in total, gave up 9 hits and 5 earned runs. Gilbert, not a great recent stretch either. Over his last 3 games, he's given up 10 earned runs. He gave up 4 at Houston, 2 at home against the Yankees, and 4 at home against the Rangers. If you look at Mitch Spence, he has also pitched 2 games against this Athletics team. Both of those were this year, and he is 0-1 as well with a 5.14 ERA, 1 home, 1 away start. We look over, actually it's kind of like 1 game. There is 1 game where he only went 1 inning and he didn't give up any runs, but then on May 11th, he went 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs. So take with that what you will. Over-under is at 7 today. I do kind of like the over. I want to see the starting lineup, so it's not on my official plays today, but very, very good chance that this gets added once I see the lineups. Really good chance. All right, next game on the card is going to be the Padres and the Diamondbacks. I think Martin Perez is going to go today. He's been on there a couple times and hasn't gone. Brandon Pfaadt on the other side of the hill. Really hard to take a Diamondbacks team at minus 192 with Brandon Pfaadt on the mound. I don't think I can do that. Huge game for the Diamondbacks. They've lost their last 2 against the Padres. They need to win. They are on the cusp of being eliminated from the wild card, even though technically they're all tied. Them and the Mets are tied. Mets have the tiebreaker against them. The Braves have the tiebreaker against the Diamondbacks. So talk about the Braves here in a little bit, but essentially the Braves are in a win and in situation today. All right, so Brandon Pfaadt 0-2 with a 3.81 career ERA versus the Padres over 5 games. So he's pitched against them 3 times this year, 2 times last year. In the 3 games he has pitched against them this year, 15.2 innings pitched, 26 hits. Let me repeat that. 15 innings, 26 hits, 9 earned runs. Last game he pitched against them was on July 6th, I believe. But really hard to trust Pfaadt here. He has just not looked good lately. He's given up runs like hotcakes. We look at Martin Perez, 2 earned runs in his last 3 games. Gave up 1 to the White Sox at home. Gave up 1 against the Giants away. Gave up none to the Tigers at home. Really good spot to play the Padres at plus 160. Again, just makes me think that they're going to sit a lot of people today. We know Luis Reyes sat yesterday. He's supposed to play today. I wouldn't be shocked if they sit him just to claim that batting title, which would be a seriously bitch move. But hopefully they don't do that. But yeah, I just don't see any way you can back the Diamondbacks with Pfaadt on the mound against the Padres. It's just can't do it. So give me the Padres in that spot. All right, next game, Orioles and the Twins. Bailey Ober going up against Albert Suarez, at least I think. Another one that keeps saying he's going to pitch but doesn't. We look at Ober, a 4.27 home ERA. He's faced this team 2 times. Both of them were in 2023. 1-0 with a 0.69 ERA. So 13 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 6 hits. We look at Ober in his last 3 games has not been too good. He's given up 11 earned. He gave up 4 at home against the Marlins in his last start. Gave up 2 at Cleveland, and then gave up 5 at home against Cincinnati. 10 earned runs in his last 3 home games. We look at Suarez. He has faced this team 1 time this year. It was way back in April. Had a good outing, 5.2 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs. He's given up 9 earned runs in his last 3. But if we go back to his last 5, he's given up 17 earned runs. So he's given up 4 earned runs in his last 2 starts. So he gave up 4 earned runs against Detroit, 4 earned runs against the Giants. Both of those starts were at home as well. If we look at Suarez, he has been pitching very well away, though. He's only given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 away games. Gave up 1 against the Red Sox, 2 at Colorado, none against the Red Sox. So 2 of the 3 were against the Red Sox. Again, hard to back a Twins team at minus 185. Ober has been struggling a little bit. Offensively, they have just not been getting it done. They're hitting 207 over the last week. We've seen the Orioles start to pick it up with the sticks, 260 over the last 14, 277 over the last 7. I just can't simply trust this lineup. The only thing that works in their favor, Suarez splits over the last 30 days have been terrible. 322 given up to lefties, 267 to righties. Obear is sub 2 to lefties and righties. So to me, maybe I know the over under 7.5, but I wouldn't be opposed to taking an under 7.5. But if I had to pick a team in this one, it's going to be the Orioles. But ultimately, a game I'm just going to lay off of. All right. This is an important game. Mets and the Brewers. Mets have lost the last two. Brewers literally have nothing to play for, and they still can't beat them. We got David Peterson going up against Colin Rea. Peterson, a sub 3 away ERA. Rea's been pitching pretty decent. He's got a really good career ERA versus the Mets. If we look since 2023, got 2 games faced, 1 in 23, 1 in 24, 2-0 with a 1.59 ERA. So he's got 11.1 innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 earned runs. We look at the Brewers, they've been smacking some left-handed starters. They've gotten 17 earned runs off the last 5 lefties that they have faced. And they haven't been terrible lefties either. Jose Quintana. So all they faced in this series is lefties. They faced Jose Quintana. They got 2 off of him. They faced Sean Manaea. They got 5 off of him. Although I will say 4 of those was a first inning grand slam. Take with that what you will. Bailey Falter pitched against them on the 24th. They got 4 off of him. Jordan Montgomery. They got 3 off of him. Ranger Suarez. They got 3 off of him. So, good track record here of them hitting pretty well. If we look at runners in scoring position, the Mets are struggling. 118 over the past week against the Brewers, who are hitting 311 over the past week. We look at Rea. He's given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 games, so he's been pitching really well. We look at Peterson. Not a good track record against these Brewers. 6.14 career ERA. That's 2 games in 22, 2 games in 23. So can't read a whole lot into that. It's 24, he's had a really good season, but we've seen some armor get exposed a little bit. He hasn't been as solid as he has been. He's given up 9 earned in his last 3, gave up 4 in his last start against the Phillies. Then he gave up 1 at Philly, and then he gave up 4 at the Blue Jays. So all in told, 7 in his last 3 away games, so not too bad. I like the under in this spot. I know the Brewers, I think they're going to rest some guys today, so I don't think we're going to see their A lineup. I would take the Mets to win at -120. Like I said, just more of a meaningful game. It's a Sunday. I think the Brewers give some guys some rest. You've got today and tomorrow, so you've got a good opportunity to get 2 days off. I could see the Brewers throwing some ragtag arms today, but I don't really trust the Mets are going to hit. We haven't seen it. They're hitting 155 over the past week, so not getting it done offensively, but I think they do enough to win today. All right, we've got our final 3 games here. Astros and the Guardians. We just needed the Guardians to get 4 runs yesterday. They got 3 really early and just they couldn't find the last run through like 6 innings. It's frustrating. Anyway, Ryan Gusto going up against Nick Sandlin. Gusto, not great. He's 8-6 with a 3.70 ERA in AAA and over 29 games. Got a 1.27 WHIP. He struggles with walking guys, so I don't love this spot. Astros, this is absolutely meaningless game for both teams, but I think the Guardians want to at least get 1 win out of this series. My only question is the wind. We've got an 11-mile-an-hour wind. It's going to be blowing in from the southwest, so runs are going to be at a premium. That's why we see the over-under at 7.5. We look at Nick Sandlin. It's a bullpen day for the Guardians, but we're talking about the best bullpen in baseball, so I feel decent about that. I think they're going to keep this a fairly low-scoring game on the Astros side. We should see the Astros sit some guys, so give me the Guardians. -218 is a lot of juice to pay. I think this might have even dipped down below 200 now. So I guess there's a spot to take the Astros. It's such a high value, but it's kind of a weird line, so go with Cleveland in that one. All right, Reds and the Cubs. We've been on the Reds' first 5 for the last 2 days. Damn straight, we're going right back to it today. Hunter Green going up against Caleb Killian. We look at Killian. His expected batting average is 321. Expected ERA is 8.58. His last start was at Philly. I guess you should say his only start. He went 5.2 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, gave up 2 home runs, walked 4, struck out 3. So he does have a little bit of a control issue here. We look at Hunter Green. He hasn't pitched very well against this Cubs team. I guess this Cubs kind of been his kryptonite this year. It's really been the only team that's been able to get to him. I pitched this against this team 2 times in 1 week. So he pitched against them June 1st and June 6th, so quite a ways back. But 12.2 innings, 8 hits, 9 earned runs. Really, like I said, the only team that got to him all year. We look at Green. He's had 1 game back. He faced Pittsburgh at home, but he only went 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run. So he had a really good day. It was a very hot day, and the ball was flying out of the park. So only giving up 1 on that day was pretty good. I remember we were on the over, I believe. Reds team total over, cashed easily on that one. All right, Reds first 5 to me. I'll trust this guy. The only thing, it's been the same as the last 2 days. Except instead of a 20-mile-an-hour wind, we've got 14, but it's coming in south-southeast. So we've had 15 or more that's been dead south. Now at least we're getting a little bit of an angle here, so we should see a little more runs. The over-under is at 7, and the over is favorited. I don't want to touch an over-under with that win, but I'll take Reds first 5. We'll go right back to that well. All right, Royals and the Braves. Last game on the card. We've got Alec Marsh, who I can't stand, going up against Grandpa Charlie Morton. It could be clinchmas for the Braves. Atlanta clinches a wild card spot with the win today. So they have the tiebreak over the Mets and the Diamondbacks. Well, I guess it's more they have the tiebreaker over the Diamondbacks. So if they win, they're in, and really tomorrow matters a little bit, but not as much. We look at Marsh. He's got almost a 5 away ERA. Morton a 3.5 home ERA. Marsh has given up 6 earned runs in his last 3 games. If you have been following Marsh, that's pretty damn good for him. It's actually really good. He gave up 3 in his last start against Detroit. Only gave up 1 at Pittsburgh. Gave up 2 against the Twins. Now, read into that. Pittsburgh, Minnesota, 2 teams struggling with the sticks last week. So, well, Minnesota's been struggling for quite a while. So I don't read too much into that. We look at Morton, 6 earned runs in his last 3 games. Not a great last start at Miami, gave up 4. I had a really good home start against the Dodgers where he only gave up 1, and then another good home start against Cincinnati where he only gave up 1. So to me, Braves, it's minus 238, which is so much, but my God, we just have not seen this Royals team hit in what feels like a month. 224 over the last 2 weeks against righties, 188 over the last 7 days. Really hard to fade this. Alec Marsh, 51% fastballs. Braves, 3rd best team hitting the fastball over the last 30 days. He's given up a 200 average to righties, 300 to lefties. Morton, basically the same though, 197 to righties, 292 to lefties. So we've got very similar pitchers. One team has nothing to play for, and the Braves are playing for the clinch. So give me the Braves, but man, there is a lot of value to take the Royals at plus 195 if you had any faith in Alec Marsh, which I do not. So, but if you do, great spot to take them. All right, those are our games. Here's the pitching report. Take a screenshot of that. Maybe able to make some bets out of that. We do have a couple that we are going to use in our prop leans today. And the park factors today, Coors Field, runs are going to be jamming out. So if you want to look at the over, wouldn't blame you there, especially with a relief pitcher for the Dodgers. Could see some high-scoring game there. And then Detroit and Chicago, we see the wind blowing out there. So another one where I could definitely see the over, especially with Cannon and Maeda, if those are the 2. But we see a lot of plus runs, but then we see negative runs in Oracle Park, in the Oakland-Seattle game, Wrigley. So it's really the only thing holding me off of taking the over 7 in the Oakland-Seattle, but it's also in a dome, so really shouldn't matter. But it is what it is. All right, rankings and best bets today. First thing that I am taking is going to be the Reds first 5. I'll go back to it. I'm not going to do the minus 0.5. There's good plus money there. Let's just start with straight up. We haven't seen the Reds score a run in this series. That doesn't help. But I trust Hunter Green is a much better pitcher than Killian. So give me Reds first 5 at minus 125. Phillies first 5 minus a half. I think Nola has a good day. We just showed that Urban's given up at least 4 earned runs in every start to the Phillies this year. I trust the Phillies will actually hit the baseball early today. So like I said, I just want to isolate first 5. I don't like their bullpen, how they've been treating it in this series. So isolate Nola and Urban. Tampa Bay Rays first 5 at minus 130. Again, Priester, first game back since July 27th. Hasn't had a great track record. Pepio, I like the way he's throwing right now. I think he finishes on a strong note here. So again, I just want to isolate the starting pitchers. San Diego Padres, first 5 over 1.5. This just seems like a joke to me. Brandon Pfaadt is an earned run machine. We nailed this spot last time when the Giants were facing them. It was the easiest cash ever. Cashed in like the first or second inning. So Padres team is pretty damn good. Even their backups should be able to hit this. And then the Mets and Milwaukee under 8. So I do think it's going to be a good game. I know I just talked about how the Brewers were hitting left-handed pitching well. I think we see their backups in today. I think Peterson should have a good day. I think Rhea should find some success. Yeah, I like the under 8 in the spot. And then parlays I like today. Just going to go with 2. I like the Yankees, the Phillies, and the Braves at plus 238. And then Dodgers, Reds, and the Guardians at plus 388. Reds are a little spotty, I'm not going to lie. If you wanted to throw another team in there, maybe throw a team like Rays at minus 115. You're still getting good value with them. Or you could swap them out for another team. Or just play a 2-man. Up to you. Prop leans I like over 5.5 Ks at minus 135. Gilbert under 7.5 Ks. I think he ends up at 7. I think 7's the line. I wouldn't be shocked if this jumps to 6.5, just because I feel if it were 6.5, I would take the over. But I think this is going to be a tight one. But I like him to finish at 7 at minus 115. Birdsong under 4.5 hits at minus 121. Just think he has a good game today. Corbin Carroll over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 115. Brent Rooker over 1.5 hits, RBIs at plus 100. This guy's gone over this line so much over the past 30 days. It's ridiculous. So this is just a system play. And then Charlie Blackmon over 1.5 total bases. Last game in the majors after a beautiful 14-year career with the Rockies. I think he goes out with a bang. We just need a double, 2 singles, whatever. Hit a home run. Do you? We already showed the park factors today, off the chart, so I like that at plus 100. Nerfies I like today, we're going to go with 4. We're going to go with the Cardinals and the Giants at minus 130. We're going to go Mets and Milwaukee, minus 120. We're going to go Baltimore, Minnesota, minus 130. Cincinnati and Chicago, minus 150. This Nerfies hit the past 2 games, and it's been super sweat-free. So that's what we've got today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. It's free, and I will catch you tomorrow where we'll have 2 games. So we're going to talk a little bit about Monday Night Football, and we're going to really start to transition into the NFL season once these playoff games kick off and we don't have a lot of value. So appreciate you guys. Thumbs up. Comment down below your favorite play of the day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.